How you doing? My name is Derek Jenkins. I'm an undergrad student at University of Louisiana at Lafayette. And today I'm going to do a project on how the fact that teachers are the cornerstone of the education system. And that if they're not, maybe they should be. And that maybe some more responsibility should be placed on teachers. And that policy shouldn't dictate exactly how a teacher should run their classroom. I'm an advocate that I want teachers to have more power, more responsibility, in order to see the classroom thrive and be more successful. And so the reason I want to talk about this is because I grew up in the New Orleans area. And the thing about New Orleans is that if you don't go to a private school, then your education is at the mercy of the public school system. That the public school system is very inconsistent. That they have some schools that are really strong and they're thriving, but they also have some failing schools as well. And so what I want to see is I want to see more students be able to be successful post-high school. That the New Orleans public school system as a whole, and every school system as a whole, has just a higher standard for their students. I feel like they have two different types of people that two different things that ends up happening. That we see two pictures right here. They look identical because they are. That these are two students that both went to New Orleans public school system. But they came out very differently. Granted, I understand that not every school is the same, but for me, I went to a school that was very hit home about constructivist mindset and developing knowledge. And my school was a really good school, and I ended up finishing in the bottom half of my class, so I was like 50 something out of 100. But my cousin, who also went to a New Orleans public school, ended up being top 10 in his class. But as we continued to progress on and as we went to college, I was able to thrive significantly more in college than he was. He actually had to sit out and had to drop out for a little bit in college. And it's crazy that we both went to New Orleans public schools, but we both left foundationally different. That I was privileged enough to have a stronger high school experience that was able to further me as I went on into college. But although he finished higher in his class, he still wasn't prepared for college. And see, that's the gap that I'm hoping to bridge. That if we allow teachers the freedom and the liberty to come up with more constructivist ways in order to further the classroom, that gap can be bridged a little bit better. And understand, not every school is the same, and not every teacher is the same. But I feel like if we put more of an emphasis on the teacher, and we allow the teacher to dictate more what happens in the classroom, that all students will be able to be more successful as they transition out of high school. And one of the biggest reasons I find that this happens is because maybe the goals for the teacher is not put in place how they should be. Case in point, I find that some schools, like the one my cousin went to, they were more focused about end-of-course testing and being able to make sure that all their students pass this, or being focused more on a grade-based manner. Whereas in my school, they were more concerned about developing knowledge. That although my grades were not the best, I was still able to learn how to learn. I was able to develop knowledge and be able to grow that and be able to use that and apply that to more areas of my life. And I feel like although this may go hand in hand sometimes, I feel like it's important to understand what is the goal that the educator has when they're encountering the students. Are they just trying to see them pass? Are they just trying to see them move forward and just move on to the next thing? Or do they want to see them develop more knowledge, develop more into who they're going to be, and be more prepared for life beyond the high school classroom? I feel like this is a gap that can easily be bridged if we put more responsibility on the teacher. That the teacher isn't this mindless person that's told what to do, but the teacher has authority in their classroom, and that they can come up with new and fresh ways in order to connect with the students and be able to give the students exactly what they need and tailor their lessons and plans to the students in their classroom. And I feel like what I'm asking here is a lot. I feel like this is asking a lot of the teacher, that this is a responsibility that may be a little bit greater than what was expected. They have to come up with new ideas, fresh ways, engaging in inquiry-based assignments. And that's why I want to have teacher development workshops. I want to have workshops and different things put in place in order for teachers to see new ideas and bounce ideas off of each other so that they're able to learn better ways of engaging their students. I feel like these workshops that would happen almost bi-monthly, where they would just have a time to decompress on the weekend and just be able to bounce ideas off of and discuss how their class has been going with their colleagues, so that they're able to come up with fresh new ways to keep students engaged and excited to learn. Because through that, they'll be able to take ownership of their learning, and that they will be more prepared for the future. But like I said, I do believe that this is a lot, and so I want to be able to also offer educators free counseling. Because dealing with students and continuing to challenge them and love on them can be very exhausting and taxing emotionally. So I want there to be free tutoring, free counseling offered to educators, so that they're able to be emotionally ready and emotionally prepared for the next day in order to give the students all they need to be successful. And lastly, this isn't big, but it's something small, but it can go a long way. Whereas in my school, my teachers would have to serve a certain amount of hours in a semester, whether that was after school or whether that was during like lunch period, they would have to chaperone. I want to find a way that teachers will not have to do that anymore. Whether parents or something else or someone else or substitute teachers would come in, and that they would be the people that would chaperone these students. And that through that, the teachers will have more free time in order to prepare for their lessons, in order to decompress, to be more prepared for when they have to encounter their students. I don't believe these are just these are just the only fix that can work, but I believe these are steps in the right direction to give teachers the freedom to do more in their classroom and to be able to give the students all that they need. And so some of the pros and the cons that we'll be able to see if we were to give teachers more freedom and more responsibility in the classroom. Some of the pros is that teachers can take upon more engaging and inquiry-based assignments, that they're able to give more of a constructivist mindset, and more scaffolding can be put in place, so that students not only learn content, but they learn how to learn, that they develop knowledge that can be applied in their future as they continue to go on in life. And I feel like this is really important, and that this could change the game for students and teachers in the classroom. Some of the cons that we may face doing this is that some teachers may not step up to the challenge. Some teachers may not be prepared for the responsibility that is asked for them to do more in the classroom. And I agree that that can definitely be an issue, but on the other hand, those teachers can also be pruned. In this picture, we see a plant being pruned, and that it cuts off the weak branches that do not help, and that more emphasis can be put on the plant growing more full. And I want that to happen for the teachers, that for the teachers who struggle a little bit more than the others, that their plants continue to grow, and that they continue to grow as educators, and that if there is one that isn't willing to get on board, then that one can be dealt with separately. But now we can't say that it's a curriculum issue. Now we can't say that it's the policies that's holding the teachers back. But now more responsibility is put on the teachers, so that if there is some lack that can be found, that can be easily corrected in the moment, so that that teacher can be more prepared and ready to challenge the students that much more in the future. Another thing that I would love to see happen for our educators is that more teacher opinion be brought forth. So whether that's school board meetings or whatever it is that makes decisions, that teachers are able to give their input as to what they believe will be best for their students. That they're the ones who are in the classroom day to day, interacting with these students and teaching these students not just content, but teaching them how to learn, that I believe they will be the best people to give advice. They will be the best ones to talk to be able to understand what the student actually needs. Another example of this, a case study that was done, was to be able to see how effective is technology in the classroom. And that a school board decided to go 80% technology for the classroom, and less on the teacher and more on the classroom and students working individually on iPads or computers or whatever that may be. And the study found that those students actually ended up lacking more in the classroom and post-high school. That they weren't taught how to learn, that they were missing that interpersonal interaction that could happen between a teacher and a student. That there was something that was missing there. But actually the teachers in that area knew that that would have happened. That the teachers believed that there should have been some more implementation of technology, but that teachers should be the center of the classroom. And that's what I'm advocating for today. That teachers continue to be the cornerstone that they are of our education system, and that more responsibility is placed on them, but also more support is for them. And that is my conclusion, is that I want everything to rise and fall on the educator. That if there is one that is lacking, then that can be dealt with by the principal or whatever authority is placed over the educator. But that authority can call out the issues that they may see and be able to help prune this teacher so that they can be more prepared for the next group of students they may face. And this is all I want to see. I want to see teachers with responsibility to be able to develop new techniques and new ways to interact students like never before. That when we see two students that both were part of the same New Orleans school district, that those two students both have a chance when they make it out of high school. That they can both be successful as they go into college. And this is why I feel like it's important to put more emphasis on teachers, and that teachers continue to be the cornerstone of our education system. This is my work.